Are you thinking about making a move to Wilsonville, Oregon, a cute little suburb just outside of Portland? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk all about Wilsonville. We're going to show you around, and we're getting after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the greater Portland metro area, make sure you click the subscribe button, tap the notification bell, do a little happy dance, and you will be the first to know about everything happening in our area. I am Ann Stewart. This is Erica Hagfirst. We're your go-to gals when you're making the move to Portland. All of our contact information is listed below, and we would love to get your reach out because we get reach outs all the time from folks just like you thinking about making a move to Portland. All right, so where is Wilsonville? Wilsonville is about 25 minutes outside of the city, south on I-5. The I-5 actually splits the town in half. So it's centered right around it. So we're also about 25 minutes north of Salem. And, you know, it's great. You've got the river to the south of the city, and then you're surrounded by West Linn to the east. You've got Newburgh to the west. You've got kind of the Tigard to Wollaton area to the north. And you know, as you head south out of the city, you start hitting a series of smaller towns like Aurora and some of those others. It kind of definitely heads out into country and farmland as you head south out of this. This is kind of the last stopping point before you know, kind of get through on to I-5 and heading to Salem. But yeah, so you're about 45 minutes from the airport, but it's a great community just south, probably southwest of Portland. Okay, we want to talk about shopping and some of the amenities around Wilsonville.
Always important.
It definitely has more of like the strip mall type feels to it, but it feels newer and there's a lot of anchor stores. Why don't you tell us about those?
Yeah, so you've got, you know, the tried and true. You've got your Costco, especially because this is pretty family centered.
Yep.
You've got Target, always important for, you know, decorating these homes. You have a Fred Meyer's, which is very much like a Walmart type option. You've got home goods and grocery. And then you've got some of the bigger restaurants. So McMenamins is a local chain for us, but you've also got,
Oswego Grill is excellent.
They've got Oswego Grill, you've got the Ram Bar and Grill, and then you've got, you know, the fast food entities as well. I mean, because you are right off of the highway, you've got quick stops or you've got, you know, your little sit down and enjoy. And I kind of feel like while you definitely have the chain options too, we do still have a lot of small businesses in Wilsonville. So it's kind of a nice mix of both. But you don't really have to, and I think that's what's so cool about Wilsonville is that you don't have to go anywhere to get your needs met.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all of your shopping options right here. And, you know, in terms of like medical, you've got a lot of urgent cares around here. And then just hop up the highway to Tualatin.
Yeah,
and you've got some, you know, hospitals. So really everything at your fingertips in this super awesome community.
Looking for a community with a lot of good park systems. Erica, why don't you talk about the parks that are here? We're actually sitting at one.
We are sitting at one of the biggest parks here. This is like huge.
Yeah.
It's Memorial Park, and you've got a little bit of everything here. So you've got walking trails, you've got splash pads, you've got, you know, your typical, you know, picnic tables and covered areas, sport courts and athletic fields. And then there's access to the water as well. Really fantastic community spot here. You can just come visit it all the time. There's also Head Park, which is a little bit more of like a boat launch area, but you can definitely, you know, take a picnic out there, and you've got a lot of neighborhood around there.
It's right on the water too.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. There's Graham Oaks Nature Park on the west side, and that's just as you're kind of heading out into the country. There's also, for the equestrians, there is, you know, shows being held out at Hunter Creek. And that is a big facility that we have really, you know, put a lot of effort into over the years. But really just lots of options. And then, you know, we have a couple of planned communities. And, you know, obviously you don't have to live in, say, Villa Bois to go enjoy their parks. They've got a lot of parks. If you just need a good place to go walk around and, you know, partake in those, you can do that as well. So lots of fantastic green community spaces. here in Wilsonville to take advantage of.
Okay, we want to talk about the neighborhoods and living here.
Obviously, the most important part.
The most important part, because that's why you're listening to us, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk and cover a lot of different neighborhoods. Let's start with Charbonneau first, because it's a little bit unique and different. It's not your typical family community. It's not classified as a 55 or older community. However,
But it is on the DL.
99% of people who hear about Charbonneau, talk about Charbonneau, or live in Charbonneau are over 55, because it is kind of a big planned community, and it feels like it should be designated 55 or older. Most people living there are definitely over that. It's around a golf course. So there's a Charbonneau golf course and, clubhouse there. They've got like a little mini area there that you can kind of like grab there's a bakery and some other like restaurants and stuff.
Shopping.
And it's kind of secluded from Wilsonville itself, even though it's got a Wilsonville zip code, 97070. But it's flatter. It's a great walking community. They have a lot of single level living. They have also 2-story homes, but they have big houses, they have little houses, and then they've got attached or condos. So a myriad of options in that area.
What's kind of cool about this planned community is they have a ton of like little community centers and HOAs within the larger community. So you've got pools, you've got rec centers, you've got, weight rooms. And it really is, like Ann said, such a cool and great walking community because it is so flat and really fantastic if you love golf.
Yeah.
So EA Charbonneau.
And it's right up against the river. So there are some properties in Charbonneau that you can buy that are right on the river. You're gonna pay a pretty penny for them.
Spendy.
Charbonneau's not cheap. It was built back in like the 80s, that era. So it's older properties that have been very well maintained, but you're not going to see a ton of like brand new. There's no new construction in there. It's one of the first planned communities that existed in the area.
Probably 5 or 7 years ago, they did actually build a few. There was a handful of new construction in there. So there are very few and far between, and they came at a high premium. But if you're looking for maybe a little bit more modern planned community, then you could go to Villebois. And Villebois is going to be kind of in the northwest corner of Wilsonville. Yep. It butts up against the farmland up there in Sherwood. We have done a video on it. It's fantastic. Check it out. And Villebois would be a much newer, I mean, I feel like it's early 2000s is when Villebois was established, which is crazy because that's already been 20 years ago. But there are multiple phases to Villebois, and it is still being built in. And it is really kind of what most people are thinking about when we talk about planned community in Oregon, because we don't have a lot of them. But there are a ton of walking trails, there are community centers and parks and splash pads and lots of community events going on. They've got a little area for like coffee shops and stuff like that, a little bit of retail on the bottom of some of these buildings. Yep. And they have really tried to make it into like a hub of like live, work, you don't have to go anywhere type situation. And those are going to be, like we said, a lot newer properties. You are going to see density here. Yeah. So this is where there's a lot of townhomes, there's a lot of condos, and then the single family homes are a lot of alley entrance type options. You're going to pay a hefty premium if you want a proper like detached family front load type home in Villebois. Think like high 8s into the $1 million range. Whereas, and a lot of the alley entrance or, rear loading homes are still going to be in the 6-7 range. So it is a premium price, but it's a really beautiful area.
It is. It's very
nice. They've got their dog parks and all, everything that you need in a planned community.
Yeah. And there's also a place called Head Park. So there's a whole section of Wilsonville dedicated to homes that were built close to the river. So some of those homes are right on the river, which go for a pretty penny, as you can imagine. Some of them are kind of a little inward, but it's its own little community. It was built back in like the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's kind of just a secluded area that's in like the farther point of Stafford. Another area, Stafford, is also part of the Stafford Triangle. We've done a video on that where it's acreage properties. It's homes that are built. Some of them are kind of, we call them, mansions or bigger homes, people who want the acreage, the privacy, the home and the presence and the estate type style homes. It used to be a lot of farm and country properties out there. Still kind of is to some degree. There are still some generational homes out there. But for the most part, land out there is extremely expensive. Homes are, you're easily going to pay $2 million plus for houses out there. It's beautiful because it's country and it's really, really close into town.
Everything.
So if you're looking for a nice house close in, but you want that country feel, you don't want to be around a lot of neighbors, that's really a great place to live. Highly popular and highly desirable, really close to almost everything. That's why it's, got the price tags it typically does.
What other neighborhoods are around here?
Yeah, so one of my other favorite neighborhoods for Wilsonville is Maury's Landing. It is a fantastic neighborhood. It's going to be on the west side, southwest side of Wilsonville. It actually has some riverfront properties as well, and they've got walking trails and they've got like little boat accesses. So if you want to do, some canoeing or kayaking, you could definitely hit an access point there. But these are probably 80s homes, 80s to early 90s, and just really nice older feeling homes. You have lots on those. So you're not on these like little postage stamps. The homes have had time to be remodeled and updated over time, so they're not cookie cutter. And you're really close to getting into Newburgh or out Wilsonville Road to head that way into wine country, but it's still really close to I-5 still, obviously, for access to everything. But one of my favorite neighborhoods by far. And homes do not come up for sale in there very often, so it's always a bonus when they do, and they usually go pretty quick.
Yeah. All right, so what does it typically cost us, Erica, when people come to us and say, we're interested in Wilsonville? What are the price points people can expect based on what they're going to buy?
The nice thing about Wilsonville is they do have some options depending on what you're looking for. Yeah. If you're okay with a townhouse or a condo, then you could probably be in the 4 to 5s. Like mid 4s to mid 5s.
Just sold one to somebody.
Yeah, we've got one right now. So, but if you're looking for a more traditional kind of detached single family style home with a yard, you're going to be probably starting in the 7s and going up from there. Now you can get the alley load in the 6s, but really when it comes down to it, I would plan 7s and up, but we're always happy to look. But yeah, it's kind of the nice thing is that you can be here at every level.
A lot of people choose Wilsonville because of the school districts. So Wilsonville is also correlated with the West-Linn school district. So it's called the Wilsonville West-Linn school district. I personally went to West-Linn, and back in the day, they were the first to kind of incorporate Wilsonville into the Wilsonville school districts. They're excellent schools, highly rated, good sports and athletic programs. People really, really love the middle schools, the elementary schools. It's a very tight-knit community. So if you're looking for kind of that small town feel, I would definitely say Wilsonville has it. A lot of the subdivisions on the east side of Wilsonville are within walking distance to a lot of the primary schools. So if you're looking for kind of that, it's definitely a great option. They have a robust programs here, and because they're tied into West Linn, there's a lot of support in the community for it. A lot of people appreciate the teachers. We can't comment too much on school ratings, but if you go online and do your homework, you're going to find a lot of really good ratings on the Wilsonville West Linn school districts. So definitely top rated for the community, especially when it comes to schools. Thanks for joining us today as we discussed all things Wilsonville. Woo! And if you guys have curiosities or questions about Wilsonville, hit us up. We've got all of our contact information below. We love getting those reach outs. Do not be shy and let us know how we can help you make a smooth transition to Portland. All right, see you on the next video.
Bye.